Hey guys, I decided to do a Q&A, or more of just an answer to my pool and my setup based on the questions and comments I've had on the videos that I put up last year. And a lot of them were the same questions and some comments about some things I should have done, needed to do, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to kind of walk around and hopefully this video will answer some of those questions. First question I get a lot is, where do I find the material that I used to put all this together? Some of these things are easier to find than others. Like I believe you can find this Hayward skimmer pretty easy. Sometimes, most of the times, these valves are easy to come across, but these little adapters that I used this time of year seem to be harder and harder to find, especially this T. All I can tell you guys is I put links in the descriptions of the videos when I first post them, like the one I did last year, of where I got it. Sometimes those links go bad. Amazon, which is where I get a lot of stuff from for these pools, the link's no longer good or valid, or the part's no longer available. And all I can really tell you is to use Google, look for the stuff. There are other places you can find it out there. It's really just kind of a good luck finding the stuff if it's not available. What I do find common though is that this time of year, when people are putting together pools and doing this type of stuff, these parts are harder to come across. Wintertime, early spring, stuff like that, the supplies of this material is not so scarce, so you can find them easier in the off season, so to speak. And they do price gouge, I will say that. I found like the whole portal kit with the 1/2-inch stuff, for $50 or $25 or something like that, and then you turn around, or less, and then you find that they've only got one portal available for $65 or $70 during the summertime, and it is a price gouging thing, and that's just the way it is. That's the market for you. That is a 3,000 gallon per hour pump. I've had that pump I think 6 years. It ran 4 years on my last system, and it's just 5 years, so this is going into the 6th season. It's been doing great. This shelter that I put over it is hinged. Got a little prop rod made out of aluminum. Got a little bolt in here. That's what it is. I don't think this pump specifically is available anymore. They've made a newer version of it. This one's been working great. Haven't had any problems with it. I do love the pre-filter for the pump. And for the Safety Sallies out there, which I can appreciate, I don't have anything against Safety Sallies. Sometimes they make good points. I did round off these corners. They used to be pointed because this is just a piece of tin off of an old silo that I had, that I tore down, and I rounded the corners off so like when kids run by, they don't gouge themselves on the corners and cut themselves as easily. Now I do know that this is still sheet metal, and it's got some sharp edges a little bit, but I've never had a kid hurt themselves on it, mainly because when kids come to this pool, they don't play around the pump. They run straight past it, up the steps, and jump in the pool, and that's where they stay. Now I haven't covered this because I haven't done another pool closing, but I did. These feet that I added have done really well. They've stopped the pool from sinking into the ground, and I actually added a screw into this piece of composite decking that I use to anchor my tarp on top when I close it out, to keep the wind from pulling it off. That's actually helped a lot, and I've got one at each post. The level of the pool is another big question I get because of the Hayward skimmer. Now, this is one mistake I made, and if I could go back and do it differently, I would. Where I put the skimmer at, I was cautious as to how high or how close I wanted to get to this seam right here. So I dropped down an extra inch, 2 inches. I really wasn't thinking about it at the time, but I lost a couple of inches in depth because of that. The skimmer will only allow the water to go as high as the skimmer because it overflows once it gets to that point. So wherever you put the skimmer at is going to determine the level of your pool. You will lose a couple inches of water, by using a Hayward skimmer on one of these pools. That's a sacrifice you have to make. You have to decide if it's worth it. Me personally, I think it's very worth it. This thing has worked awesome. It has kept this pool a heck of a lot cleaner. I haven't had the skimmer get loose, float up, suck a bunch of air up into the pump and sit there and just run the pump with air cavitating through it for hours until I catch it doing that. So that's really been a great addition to the pool. Now, if I was going to do it again, I probably would go ahead and come up to the seam and mount this. The way I did it, I'm sure that it would be plenty strong enough. Haven't had any issues with it. Hasn't leaked. It's real easy to clean out. You know, you just kind of make sure your floaty bugs are in there and pull it out, and you're done. This is a piece of square aluminum rod I picked up from the hardware store. I put that on there to help support the weight of this skimmer, because it's a good bit of weight hanging off the side of the pool on that membrane. So that does help transfer that weight to the post. That's one thing that I think was a good little extra. And obviously my other piece of pipe for the hoses. The pool deck itself, I've had a few people comment on how I have it sitting on these blocks, because the blocks are turned vertical instead of the other way. I realize that that's not ideal, and to be honest with you, I've just had too much going on and I've been lazy, and I haven't went and bought flat brick to put under there to set up the pool. Yes, there's the potential that one of those blocks could crack and I could have, you know, an issue with the deck not wanting to sit level or drop or whatever. But I mean, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 legs under it. So if one block cracks, whoop-de-doo, I'll stick another block under it. No big deal. Now, I will say that the robot, now that I've used it for a year, works pretty good. It actually, it has pros and cons to it, I would say. Well, con, it's expensive, very expensive. But it does a really good job of covering the whole bottom of the pool, and all those little bits of sediment, algae, whatever might be sitting on the pool. It does knock them loose. However, it doesn't. It gets the bigger stuff in the basket, but it doesn't get everything. So what ends up happening is this guy will usually run for about 2 hours when you turn it on. It'll turn itself off. What it doesn't get, so long as you have the main system running, the big system will get it. And I think that's really the advantage to this, is it takes whatever's on the bottom, spits it up into the pool water, and keeps it stirred up, so that as long as you got a high volume pump like that one over there, it usually will pick it up and get it out of the pool. And I might have to run it twice sometimes to get all of it up, but it does a pretty good job. The shark that I used to run, that I originally kind of got me started in doing all this, because I needed a higher volume pump to run that shark, it does good. Whatever it runs over, it sucks up. It doesn't matter if it's light, little, big, small, it doesn't matter. It's going to get it. The problem with the shark was it didn't cover the entire bottom of the pool. No matter how I tried, it would always fail to get area over here, maybe an area over here. And the trade-off for something that would scrub across the bottom, cover the entire pool, with the combination of it and that pump over there, I think they do better together than the shark did by itself. So would I say that's a good investment? I would say it is. I believe that covers most everything. I just wanted to do a quick overview, kind of hitting on some of the things that people have pointed out, things they wouldn't do, would do, that kind of stuff. I'm sure there's something I missed, and I'm sure there'll be some questions in the comment section about, well, what about this? What about that? And I'll try to answer them if I can. I do look at my comments. No, I'm not in the business of building pools. I won't do this for you. This is my pool at my house. No, I'm not paid by anybody for sponsorships. I do this because I want to share the information and I'm just a small-time YouTuber. That's, you know, that's kind of where I'm at with this deal. I try to provide enough information so that you can figure it out for yourself. I realize, say like when I did the pool leveling, that, you know, not everybody has a backhoe. I just happened to be lucky enough to where I could put my hands on one. I think I mentioned there in a side cutter, we'll get your grass up for you, and then you could get it up in a wheelbarrow and move it out. That's what I think I would have done had I not had access to the backhoe. I realize that, you know, that's a much harder, more labor intensive way to do it, but getting the ground clear and level with the lawnmower and the board and doing all that stuff really worked out well. That's all I can think of right now, but it has worked out really good. The pool's pretty level. I haven't had any issues with the bottom. Pump's working great. I'm on season 6 with it right now. The Hayward skimmer's working awesome. My split valve setup here is working great. The plug that I put in here has not leaked. Nobody's pushed it out. I mean, other than maybe mounting the Hayward skimmer a little bit higher, there's not too many things I would do different. I believe if I had to replace this pool next year for some reason or something, and I had to do it all over again, I believe I'd do about the same setup. Not too much different. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching the video. Give me a thumbs up and a like. That really does help. I hope I answered some of your questions, and maybe created some more for you to ask me now. And if you ask me how much it costs, that kind of stuff, I'm not going to go into that because prices change. Anyway, y'all have a good one. We'll see you on the next video.